Tired of city life, we moved to the country and started our homestead by learning to raise chickens. Each day we were met with new challenges, new learning opportunities, and new adventures. Through it all, we loved our new daily routine, and of course, the perks and benefits. Join us each week as we add to our flock and grow our homestead.
Last week on Coop Dreams.
Last week we had Rent the Chicken out to the farm, and they shined a light on the growing number of chickens getting dropped off at animal shelters. Does that happen a lot? People drop off chickens at a shelter?
Yes.
The interest in backyard chickens has brought in many individuals who are not ready for the responsibility of keeping a small flock. With nearly 50% of their rentals turning into adoptions, they're a great place for some to start. And the 50% that do not get adopted are returned and cared for instead of winding up in shelters. The weather was beginning to break, and it was time to lay out the garden and get it planted. I knew there was a lot of work, but I didn't know what exactly was involved, and so I invited Kevin from New Country Organics to help me get started. I had a checklist of questions that began with my selection of a garden site. How to protect our garden from deer, rabbits, and even our chickens. How my compost was developing. What soil amendments to add, as well as how to prepare the ground. But my venture into gardening hit a snag.
But no, it should, like I say, if you just do it slow, it's going to take, you're going to set it down and just let it eat, let the big dog eat.
Do you need to, while I'm doing that, do you need to read the book on how to use this? Because I'll be honest, I don't know how to use it.
We'll figure it out. Let's crank it up and see what it does, what we need to do here.
Okay. Oh, there's an on switch.
Yeah, that'll work. That's important. All right, now do it. There we go.
When starting engine, place free hand here. I wasn't putting my free hand there. Come on, that's insulting that you have to check that.
Just thought I'd ask. You have to get a broad fork?
Huh?
You know what a broad fork is?
No.
It's a, it has two handles.
Uh-huh. Like a post hole digger?
Yeah, sort of like that, but it's wider. And it has like either 4 to 6 tines on it.
Uh-huh.
And you set it in the ground and you stomp on it, it goes into the ground, then you rock it back, and then move it up about another 6 inches. And...
Okay, plan B. Despite how often or how hard I tried, I was unable to get the tiller started. I even read the instructions.
Well, have you ever cranked it up before?
Yeah.
Well, how did
About
you do it?
12 months ago. So I loaded it up and took it to the repair shop. As luck would have it, after dropping off the tiller, my utility vehicle broke down about a mile from the farm. So I called back to the repair place to have them come pick it up and fix it with the tiller. In my weekly call to the repair place, they informed me that I hadn't winterized my tiller, as per the manual, and that is what affected the carburetor. It was good to go now and started with one pull. There was a long pause when I asked about the utility vehicle, and then he said, "You ran out of gas." We put some gas in, drove it back to your farm, and left it in the barn with the tiller. Although embarrassed, I now had all the tools and I was excited to get my garden started. Having never had a garden, I was unsure of proper sizing and I laid out an area that felt right. Kevin had suggested breaking up the ground a bit before tilling and recommended a broad fork, which sounded like a lot of work. So I borrowed a disc thing from my neighbors Mike and Michelle and prepped the soil. New Country Organics did a test on our property and set me up with the right nutrients and minerals to improve my soil quality. A raccoon came in and chewed up my fertilizer. Maybe I should plant right here. I can't leave, you know how I used to leave chubby mealworms? A bag of chubby mealworms on the coop? Anytime I do right now, they shred it and eat all the mealworms. So I gotta lock everything up at night, but I didn't think they'd come after nitrogen. They left the poultry manure alone.
Did you calibrate that opening before you got started?
It doesn't have a recommended size of the opening. Gotta eyeball stuff like this sometimes. Kevin was supposed to help me get this all set up, but when we couldn't get the tiller to start, just left me to guesstimate it on my own here. My neighbor told me that I needed 12, 12, 12 or 13, 13, 13 material. There's a 13 right there, so. Good Lord. I may have made the garden too big. I can't even imagine before tillers. So I know you had a horse and a plow and stuff like that, but whoever invented the tiller, he's a genius. She's a genius. They're a genius. Maybe it's Mrs. Built and Mr. Troy. Problem was twofold. So I should have put the fertilizer down first, then tilled it, instead of tilling it, fertilizer, tilling it again. And then the other problem was the raccoons got in the bags of fertilizer and chewed it up. So kind of felt that neutralized really any kind of plan that I might have had or should have had. It's raccoons' fault. Since I planned to have some plants, I needed to protect them from predators and found this solar garden fence online. I liked the fact it was movable, I didn't need to run electric to it, and that I only needed to unroll it. No need to build. The mix of black and white strands made it visible to deer, and the smaller squares at the base made it bunny-proof. I can't believe the raccoons attacked my manure. They're gonna get a kick out of this fence when they try to attack my vegetables. Look at that. That's almost straight too. It's actually looking like a garden, huh? Gotta admit, it looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Got my plants, some seeds, onions, potatoes, my digging things, ready to go plant. I selected a mix of plants and seeds and picked them based on what we like to eat, as well as what works best planting this late in the spring. I love squashes, so I planted a lot of those. dig a hole, set the bulbs, replace the soil, and then water. All these. Yeah, I probably should have set up the garden somewhere closer to water. For my birthday, I wanted a 250-yard hose. A poorly thought out element was that I put the garden 300 feet from the water source. And so every morning and every night, I would take 6 or 8 buckets of water out and water the garden by hand. I've never loved seeing rain as much as I do now. I also received a package from Kevin and Way Cool Tools. It was an actual broad fork, and so I took a shot at loosening the soil by hand. I enjoyed gardening. Spending time out there working made me feel a very active participant in our food source. And while I wasn't very good at it yet, I was starting to figure it out. I planted a few more rows, but tried not to go overboard and worked to keep it in a place that I could manage. I had heard a ton of stories of people investing a lot of time and energy into a garden who would then lose their plants to predators. It was clear that this fencing would take care of all the predators that lived on the ground. Having gotten my planting in by early summer, I was excited to watch it grow and learn ways to improve our output. Onions here, nothing coming in yet. Oh, no, Matt, that's one. That's an onion right there. You got my onion, one of my onions coming in. Peppers are doing well. There's actually a pepper on this one. Squashes and zucchinis. My potatoes, I'm really good at potatoes. Potatoes are coming in great. Garlics are a little suspect. Basils are doing good. And my tomatoes are growing and starting to flower. The garden wasn't the only area growing on the farm. Our flock had doubled in the last few months, and we decided to hatch another set. Our first set of chicks were all pokey babies, as we really wanted whatever it is that drives her to be her to continue in our flock. But Hannibal was a great hen too, and a very steady layer, so we wanted to hatch some of her eggs. The Brinzy EcoGlow was incredible, so I also got their mini incubator as it sounded equally amazing and easy to use, and I decided to use that for the new eggs. Before we could hatch, we needed to make sure we were prepared, and so I returned to the Urban Coop Company to find the coop that could solve our growing space issue. I really needed to stop the chicken and coop math and felt this coop would be our last one. Returning to the Urban Coop Company, despite having just met a year ago, felt like visiting old friends, and we picked up right where we left off. But a lot had changed in the last year. The exploding backyard chicken craze had the Urban Coop Company needing to increase their production space. And so we toured the new facility and caught up with the crew, Charlie the pig, and Violet the donkey. Additionally, Lisa of Fresh Eggs Daily was down working with them on creating a duck house.
Or a rectangle, and then, ooh, circle, we match the circle.
Very rough drawing. And you can cut it out later, it's fine, but
This is where the tub is.
like I think this is not gonna be here.
Right.
It was a really cool design that would include an indoor swimming pool. Since we were getting ready to hatch again, and Diane and Lisa were both seasoned veterans, I took a tour of the new chick house and picked their brains on incubating and brooding. And I came across my first duckling. That got my mind going in a completely different direction and made it very difficult to focus. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know if it was humidity, I don't know if it was time. The second one, I think I actually made more mistakes on with the eggs. I think some of them were past like 14 days. Put them in the refrigerator for a day, but I got 5 out of 8 on that one. So as we're going to do this again, I wanted to figure out if any hints, any thoughts, any...
Don't refrigerate them.
Okay, check.
Fresh eggs, right? I mean, as fresh as you can get.
As fresh as you can
So
get.
what is that window? I've heard 14 days, but then mine were over 14 days.
I will collect eggs for 7 days and put them in. I don't like to have them over a week old.
Okay.
I think the other thing that people forget is being clean. You don't want to wash your hatching eggs, but washing your hands. Keep
So
things
you're,
clean.
you're not talking about washing them, although these look cleaner than those.
Well,
Well,
are
those are duck eggs.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, I just keep the egg boxes really clean. I actually use AstroTurf in the egg boxes,
Oh, do you?
and I
heard
keep them.
about that.
I keep them clean. I keep them really clean, and in fact, I'll disinfect them once a week. Where my
Wait.
regular egg-laying chickens.
So what are you writing on here? Are these the days that you pick them up?
Yes.
And then the breed, is that on
Yes.
there? What's BKA? Is that a BKA?
That is a BRA.
Okay, that's a terrible R.
I know. I'm sorry.
Very much like a K. What does that mean? BR.
Brahma.
Okay. So you're going for specific breeds here.
Yes, and I always think that I'll remember them.
Mm-hmm.
21
Yeah.
days later, I can't even remember when I set them. So I write it down when I set them, when they're ready to stop turning. 'Cause you stop turning them
3 days.
3 days before, and then when they hatch.
Is it hurt or asleep?
I think it's asleep.
Is it really?
not hurt, yeah.
Okay. Look at that. He's just sleeping through the... After a pretty full day, we were all invited to family dinner where we caught up with the kids and laughed until way too late. The next morning would be Coop shopping day, and I was pretty excited. After a full day of travel, catching up with friends, and a tour of the new facility, it was time to get to work. I'm incredibly impulsive and realize that leads to some problems. So I set out to really think through the decision on our next and likely final coop. Diane had offered to walk me through their models to better understand what was the best fit for our needs. On the way to the showroom, she took me to see their broody hen, who was not only tending to chicks, but also a runaway duckling that had adopted her. It was really cool to see the way they all interacted.
What I think is really cool is just the vocalizations. I mean, they're talking to each other all the time, the chicks and the mother, even before they hatch. You can hear the birds. When you hatched, could you hear it?
I'm amazed by that. Those kind, the things that I'm gravitating to on Facebook these days are animal videos between species, like a dog that's cuddling with a kitten. This kind of stuff I just love. Whee! So why do they all jump out?
Because they can, because they're little kids.
I did everything I could to focus on the coop we were talking about, but I kept dreaming of the walk-in coop. I knew if I came home with it, I had better understand it, as well as all of the coops I didn't get, so Jackster wouldn't think I just picked the biggest one. In looking for a new coop, I had learned about a variety of models and what needs they each serve. So I locked in on everything Diane was saying, but when the tour got to the walk-in, I was pretty excited.
One of the design features of this is that you can walk in and even you can walk all the way in.
I'm not going to hit my head on anything.
Right,
That's
right. It is
fantastic.
not really designed for me, but
Well, you're good too.
That's all right.
You're not in any danger.
2 chickens in one.
Why do they do that?
Yeah, that is just a super common thing.
I think they'd be more comfortable in their own space.
They are flock animals. They like to be together.
These are really big nesting boxes. We're in Texas.
Right.
And the ventilation in here, it's comfortable and cool. So like on a hot summer day, I could just see sitting in here and hanging out and hoping nobody finds me.
Exactly.
I mean, I love them all,
I know.
but I think this is the next. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Well, This is when the back door comes in handy. Following the tour, I was sold. The day ended in a magical way with a cookout and concert from some of the multi-talented crew. It was a great trip, and I'm really glad I made it, so I could feel comfortable in explaining to Jackster why I did what I just did. I was excited to get home to check on the flock, tend to the garden, set the new eggs in the incubator, and to, for the last time ever, put together a chicken coop. A lot was developing as our homestead continued to grow. Our 5 older chickens were joined by 5 teenagers we had hatched a few months ago. We had started a garden. We're getting ready to set some eggs, assemble another coop, and enter the crazy world of goats.
For more fun, like Coop Dreams on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and visit our website at www.fadedjeans.tv.
I think I ingested a little bit too much poultry manure. There was a time that I hit a dead bloated possum with my lawnmower, and bits of meat and maggot were all over me. I tasted dead possum. Like everything I ate for the next week had that taste to it, and that's how I feel about this poultry manure.